Morning, class. Johnny Carson couldn't be with us today. So today, I'm reporting to you as Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The president who built Grand Coulee Dam, among other things. Gave us Social Security. I know I'm glad Grandma doesn't live with me. I'm sure you might be glad as well. It's because of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Today, we're going to try chapters 14 and 15, if it's okay with you. So, fun fact about Roosevelt, he suffered the second half of his life with polio, and many of his speeches were delivered while he was sitting in a wheelchair. And it's because of him that we have a polio vaccine, and he was the inspiration for the Americans with Disabilities Act, reasons why we have wheelchair ramps in public buildings like at school. So chapter 14. We get some DeLacy family background. They're upper middle class. They are French. We now know they're French. They're not Germans. They're not Swiss. They're French. They live in Paris. They know of a business person from Turkey who's a Muslim. That comes into play in chapter 14. Remember, discrimination. He's different and ugly, therefore we need to be scared of him and hate him and call him a monster and a demon and a devil and a fiend. He has done nothing wrong. All we've seen is his emotional side, his sensitive side. He's loving and caring and wants friends, wants family. And chapter 15 gets into that. Chapter 14, they're in Paris, France. Felix falls in love with the daughter of this Turkish businessman. Meanwhile, the businessman makes a lot of enemies in France and is convicted of a crime. We don't know the specifics of it, and is condemned to death. While in prison, Felix visits him and is sympathetic to him, and he says, "Look, man, I'm going to break you out of here. That was unfair." And he says, "Man, you're not going to judge me for being a Muslim and a Turk, and you're a Christian, and you're going to help me escape? That's so amazing. I'm going to give you a bunch of money." So even though the DeLacy family is upper middle class in France, he's going to get some money from the Turk when he busts him out of jail. Now, one thing Felix does say is, "You know what? I don't really want your money, but if you'd let me marry Safi, that would be all the payment I need." So he reluctantly agrees. "Okay, fine, but I really don't want her marrying no Christian." But see, Safi's mom was Christian. And we find that out on 108, 109. And through Christianity, Safi kind of thinks, man, Christian nations let girls have much more freedom than Muslim nations do. So I don't really know about the whole like setting me up thing. She's feeling her liberty and freedom. Finally, he does bust him out, and they're hiding in Italy. The French find out who did it, issue arrest warrants, arrests the old man and Agatha, and they spent 5 months in jail for doing nothing, for being related to the dude. Man, what's his name? I'm blanking on it. Felix. The Italian had mentioned the name of the spot for which he was bound. And Safi's there in Italy now. Her dad went back to Constantinople now Istanbul, Turkey, name change. Felix goes back to Paris, France to try to get his old man and Agatha out. And they are 5 months in the pen. So what do? The French seize all of their money and then tell them, you get out of France and never return. That's why they went to Switzerland and hid out as exiles. So, Safi, instead of going back to Constantinople with her dad, she goes, I'm going to peace out on that one and go ahead and find a servant who can take me to find Felix and reconnect with him. So that's where we are, chapter 14. This is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Good afternoon, class.